Hi, today we're going to talk about infographics, and specifically we're going to use a website called Canva.com to create an infographic. Now Canva is a site that has both free and paid options, but it's a little different than subscription sites where you're paying a monthly fee. Canva makes available to you templates for various things, everything from to design good Facebook graphics to YouTube banners and infographics, as well as a number of other things. And what they do is they provide an amount of art for free. So an amount of pictures, shapes, designs, etc. for free. But then they also have options where you could simply buy a particular graphic for $1 or so. Okay, so that's how the site works. Let's take a look at it. In order to get there, we're going to go to, you could search for Canva, or you could simply type in canva.com, it's canva.com. You can sign up with a Facebook account, a Google account, or simply with your email. Now I've already signed up, so I'm going to log in up at the top. Okay, and once you're logged in, you'll be brought to this screen. And you can see right now, one of the designs listed here is infographic. You've got YouTube channel art, a poster, a card, various things. And if you click more, you're going to see that Canva does give you a wide variety of different templates to work from. Social media headers, invitations, etc. What we want to do is we just want to pick this infographic over here. Basically what that's going to do is it's going to get us basically a blank page, but with dimensions that would be appropriate for an infographic. Okay, you can see that to start with they give you some default layouts, and you're welcome to use those. You can start with these as a base and then modify from there. And you can see that these layouts, if they have free in the corner, that means that you can use it as is. If they've got the little $sign in the corner, it'll give you some information on there, and you'll see that this particular one is for $1. And anything I've ever seen on Canva tends to be about $1. There may be something that's more expensive, but I haven't noticed it. Okay, so that's one way to work, is to work off a template, and let's just pick a template to get started. Okay, once you're there, you can zoom in to get a better look. You can zoom back out using the tool in the lower right-hand corner. And you can see that this is very characteristically an infographic. It's got relatively small amounts of text explaining an idea. It's got graphical elements to draw your attention, and also to reinforce concepts. So this is cook-off, and there's a chef hat. Sale and a for sale sign. So the graphics in an infographic are very important because they're designed to help make your point or reinforce it with your viewer. Now notice in this infographic, and in this case I'm just holding my control key and scrolling with my mouse to come in. That's another way to zoom in on this. You can see that infographics very often are presenting data. Very often they're giving you facts. And so you'll see things like this where your data can just be summarized and placed there, or they may even include charts or graphs that you can get in a variety of ways. Okay, so let's look at how to work with the tool itself. Okay, so if I were to click here, you can see that there are a variety of objects. This is just a text object. It's got handles on either side, and when I click on an object there, I've just clicked on the words cook-off, you can see that the tools that are available or that are relevant to the particular object I've selected appear at the top. So in this case, there's a font size, a color for the font, bold and italic options, alignment options. So I could, simply put that in the center. I could italicize it. The italics doesn't seem to be available here, but for some fonts it will be available. I could change the color. And it's giving you the option to change all, which is nice, so that if it sees that I've used a certain palette, this is the palette of the document here, and that if I want to change this particular item, do I want to change all the items? Let's just make it blue instead. All the items that have the same color, and you can see that happening down there. So I'm going to uncheck that, and I'm actually just going to cancel out of here. So I kind of like the black as it is. Okay. Black. Sorry, right there. Okay, in addition, we've got this, we can toggle between all uppercase and normal case where you can capitalize as you see fit. You can make things into bulleted lists if you'd like, so it doesn't really make sense here, but if I had a long list I could do that. I can adjust the spacing. So letter spacing, if I pull this out, you can see it's dragging it out. And line height, especially if there were multiple things in that box, you can see it's putting more space vertically. So line height is going to give you more space vertically. Let's leave it at 1. And letter spacing is going to give you that space horizontally. Let me zoom in a little bit here. You could also change the size of your box depending on what content was in there. So I could make it a smaller box and then use the center, and then that would have a different effect than if it was a larger box. I can also extend that box as my text gets longer. Put it back the way it was. Okay, there are a series of tools over here on the right. There's a copy tool. So if I do that, it simply makes a full copy of my text or whatever I had selected, whether that be a graphic or a text, etc. And what that does, especially with text, is it helps me to quickly reproduce that same format, meaning that the font size, the color, all these settings that I've done up here will be retained, and I won't have to, apply them individually to each of these items. Okay. Notice also that when you do click on text and when you do click even on graphics over here or whatever, you do have this nice handle here that you can put things on an off angle. They don't have to be completely horizontal or completely vertical. Let me just delete that whole item there. You have an arrange button, and let me just drag this graphic over here. You can see that the text, if this graphic was laid here, the text would lay on top of it. And arrange is simply a way for you to layer, so you can move things forward or back. So if I move this back, it's now behind and obscured by the graphic. Although I could take this graphic as well and change the opacity to make it show through a little bit. But let's just bring it back forward. I'll try to select that graphic and put it back in place. Now, right now I'm moving that graphic using the arrow keys on my keyboard, and that's a way that you can do some fine placement. So if I've grabbed this and I put it approximately where I want it, notice it does kind of snap into place in a grid, so that's super handy. But if you did want to tweak it a little bit, you could use the arrow keys on your keyboard to do that. Okay, another thing we have here is a transparency tool. So if I click on that, right now it's completely opaque, 100%. It says transparency, but it's really non-transparent. But if I wanted to, I could bring this down and allow some of what's ever behind it to show through. And you can see in the case of text, what that really does is it just alters the color a little bit. It makes it look a little slightly different color. Let me make that a little more dramatic so you can see. If I bring the opacity down to say 42%, you can see it really has faded out that color. Maybe not something I want to do right now. So bring that up to 100. And notice that selecting the box, I have previously, just out of habit, I think, been selecting the text, but selecting the box will do the same thing, so that can really save you a step. Okay, last thing that you can do here is you can create a hyperlink. Now, if you were to print this, you wanted to print this and put it up on the wall in your classroom, obviously the hyperlink wouldn't be so relevant. But you can also share these, through a web link. And if you do that, then, the link becomes more useful. So you would do this in a standard way. Let's just say that I wanted to make that. I'll just go to Google for lack of a better address right now, but you would want to pick one that was relevant to the text. So I'm going to copy that. I'm going to right click and copy it. Is one way to do it. And then you simply paste it in there and apply it. And at least when you have the linked form, when somebody gets this shared with them, this will actually be a hyperlink that'll take them out. Now we're not seeing that now because we're kind of in the edit mode. Okay, if I click on the graphic, notice my tools are a lot simpler. I can copy it, I can arrange it, I can add transparency or a hyperlink as I did before, and I can change the basic color scheme. So this particular graphic is made from white and it looks like a dark brown. So if I were to click on a dark brown, I could change that. Okay, if you do something you don't like, you always have an undo button and a redo button, so I can go back and forth between my changes there. If you were to use the resize link, you'd see that you have another option with Canva, so that you can kind of do a monthly thing if you want. I know we talked about purchasing individual graphics, but you can kind of do a monthly thing. And then that gets you this kind of package. Now I'm going to not start the free trial because it's not something that I want to do. But just know that there are, a variety of options. There is a help menu up here. That will open in a new tab. It'll allow you to do some searching, and it's got some, basic tutorials and help items here for you to help learn to use the site. Okay, under File, you do have this resize your infographic. However, to do that, you're going to have to start the trial period. So let's not do that. You can make a copy of this. So if you've gotten to a certain point and you want to try an alternate design, or you have something and you want to preserve it, but you also want to make another copy. Perhaps the event runs several times and under several variations or something. So you just say make a copy. Also, you can just click Save manually. Notice isn't all changes saved here. And as I make changes, such as moving that, it says now that there are unsaved changes on the page. Okay, your infographic can be shared in a variety of ways. So you can invite people. So if you're working on this project with someone, you can show it to them by saying click View, or you can simply edit here and then send invites. They have some new options that you can share it directly to your Twitter or Facebook account, or you can get this nice link. So this is the way that I prefer. It's just email somebody this link, and then you either give them edit or view privileges. Last option here is that you can make an item public, and then you can embed that, so you can get some embed code. So we've done that in a variety of different environments, so I'm not going to do it here, but you'd have to say to, make this, so you're not inviting individual people, you're basically sharing it with the world at that point. Okay, option up here is also to make it public. I can download this, and I can download it in a couple of different formats. So I can download it as a PNG file, which is a graphic file. I can download it as a JPEG, which is a different type of graphic, or in PDF formats, either standard or print, and print being the larger file, higher quality file, because the density of a picture, the resolution of a picture is going to be greater on something that needs to be printed as opposed to something that's displayed on a computer monitor. You also have this option to order prints. So you have a variety of different sizes, letterhead, business card. This is not going to work as well with the infographic. and then you can have that printed and sent to you. Okay, those are the basic features. We're going to look at, in the next video, we're going to look at all these tools and how to modify the design more generally, not individual items or colors, but how to redesign this.